Welcome to the world of bamboo. I'm here in North El Salvador.
In this video, I'll share everything I learned from planting and cutting to design and construction with this amazing plant.
Thanks to Brian and his wonderful team at Jaraguah, I was able to learn all about this amazing plant. Bamboo is not a commercial material in the sense where you can go to the hardware store and pick up 6 links of bamboo like you would with other materials. Instead, you have to go to the farms, speak to the farmers, maybe even teach them how it should be harvested, which is not easy as you've got to get up at 3 in the morning. Although bamboo can reach up to 25 meters in height in its first 3 years, it takes another 4 years for it to harden, and it's this property that we need for construction.
The workshop began with an opening ceremony where we learned about the cultural significance of this ancient building material. After we made a tribute to the indigenous people and their land, we each introduced ourselves to the rest of the class. Then we began to learn about the theory of bamboo, which I've interspersed evenly throughout this video.
My goal was to learn how to sustainably cultivate bamboo here on our property in Surf City, and then eventually design and construct something out of bamboo to perhaps give our teepee more shade. And eventually we can... Someone's selling beans down there. I think we've got enough beans at the moment. We just did our first introductory class to bamboo and I am fascinated by this plant. Bamboo loves to grow in tropical climates, particularly close to water. In its formative years as a plant, bamboo needs as much sunlight as it can get. As it gets older and matures, shade is preferred. Bamboo can be identified by its leaves, its color, the nodes, the texture. It's recommended that each bamboo shoot you cut is over 7 years old. It can be identified by this white lichen that grows on it. Here we've got the bottom of the bamboo. This is where it's at its thickest and also where the nodes are closest together. This is the strongest part of bamboo. Next, we have the base of the bamboo. This is also a really strong part, but as you can see, the nodes get further and further apart. When planting bamboo, it's important to remember that when you go to harvest it, you don't want it getting tied up in the branches of other trees. So you need to leave it space to grow. Bamboo can be transplanted by taking the rhizome and planting it 50 centimeters to 1 meter underground in a suitable area.
Una raíz madre que va en forma horizontal y de esa raíz van surgiendo plantas.
Bamboo does an amazing job at absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and it creates symbiosis with its neighboring plants. These bamboo shoots which we've cut will be protected by the mother for the next 2 weeks as they come to terms with having one of their children cut off by the limb.
In between classes, we were fed truly delicious food, including a bamboo salad, which was a first for me. I thoroughly enjoyed mingling with all of the other students on the course, as most of them were fully qualified architects with heaps of ideas to share. The venue of Jaraguah is absolutely stunning, which added to the overall atmosphere of the whole weekend. I tried to remain as caffeinated as possible to retain all of the theory, which meant by the end of the day I had some extra energy to burn off. Bamboo harvesting is no joke, so it's important to remain in peak physical condition.
Day 2 of the workshop, we have to get up at 5 a.m. because bamboo has to be cut at a very specific time. I wish I brought a head torch.
Abraham Lincoln said if he was given 6 hours to cut down a tree, he would spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. Roy Keane said, fail to prepare, prepare to fail. Once satisfied with the machete, I put my Crocs into sports mode and joined the rest of the group in our descent to the creek on the Jaraguah property. Bamboo is harvested in the middle of the night because its sugar production levels are at its lowest. This gives the cut stalk the most insect protection. Brian lit a ceremonial candle and made an offering of local honey to this sugar-loving plant as a gesture of thanks for the fruits we were about to harvest.
Está más lista, o sea, está mucho mejor que esa.
Pues ese puede ser.
Ideally, you would mark all of the stalks you intend to cut the day before to save time and confusion in the dark the night you go to cut them. Augustine had to tidy up my cut a little bit as I butchered it, unlike Melvin, who made light work of his. You can see the sugary sap dripping out of the freshly cut bamboo. The drying process begins by leaving the freshly cut stalks in the forest where it's magically protected from being ravaged by insects. After 2 to 4 weeks, it's safe to remove the bamboo, and it should then be placed in salty water for another 2 to 4 weeks. This is to maximize the durability of the construction material. There are thousands of species of bamboo. Wadwa, native to Colombia, and asper, native to Southeast Asia, are the most commonly used in construction.
Ya está así desde acá de El Salvador y las hojas vuelven a cambiar porque es de otra familia.
Unfortunately, the native species to El Salvador is not suitable for construction, but can be used for ornaments.
When harvesting bamboo, it's important to always leave 20 to 30% of the mature canes so the rest of the plant can continue to flourish. Besides its raw beauty and strength, flexibility is another one of bamboo's virtuous properties. I spent 6 months on banana farms in far north Queensland, Australia, so this is a familiar sight to me.
After the early morning rise, we had time to prepare for the next part of the workshop, which was sacred geometry and design.
All of the shapes are inspired by nature. Here you can see triangles overlapping with ovals, creating the strong, rigid base.
After a quick demonstration on how to use the materials, we were invited to create our own design, seeking inspiration from nature. Sacred geometry describes the patterns found in nature in plants, flowers, crystals, even the anatomy of a human body. These geometric relationships have been used in architecture since Egyptian times to create temples and cathedrals. The architecture is not just aesthetic, it also creates a sense of harmony with the rest of the universe. I was in the middle of designing the hostel's next communal space when the waft of grilled chicken left me weak and unable to continue.
No aguanto más.
Ya casi, ya casi.
Once I got this nutritious feed into me, I was ready for the Zoom call presentation from a fascinating project in Colombia. Ikawa are using bamboo to create beautiful living spaces in harmony with nature. They've even managed to incorporate a living roof in one of their builds.
Bamboo, as brilliant as it is a labor-intensive material. So all of this was pre-cut for us, so it was ready to go for the workshop. There are many different techniques for cutting bamboo once it's already harvested, so we're going to have to experiment to find out what works best for us.
The final part of the workshop was a practical session. Here we got hands-on experience on how to work with bamboo. The objective was to build the frame of the roof for the outdoor kitchen at Jaraguah. We started by doubling up tie wire to make it stronger. These wooden posts create the template to give the bamboo the form we want. We fed in 8 segments of bamboo before attaching a clamp. Once clamped, we used the tie wire to secure it in place. Every 30 centimeters, we tied it with more wire. Then we inserted pegs, which are also carved out of bamboo, and a little bit of glue to give the structure a little bit more strength. The tie wire is covered with rope for aesthetic purposes. We took down the old roof to make way for the new paraboloid frame. Once the architects were happy with the positioning of the frame, we removed the X supports and began to tie it in place. The rest of this roof is made from recycled woods from around the area. This is an exciting design which I'm definitely keen to attempt once we get our hands on some quality bamboo. This afternoon session was a classic example of many hands make light work. For this particular roof design, Brian plans to use geotextile and a cement-like mixture to create a waterproof roof. Of course, we didn't have time to do all of this over the weekend, but I very much look forward to seeing how it turns out.
What do you guys think? Should we attempt a roof structure like this for our upcoming toilets? Here we've got the support for this entire building. There are 6 of these holding us up, and it's one thick piece of bamboo connected to this concrete base through a bar of iron, which could be 3/8 of an inch or 1/2 an inch thick. And inside the bamboo, it's actually filled with more cement. So you cut a hole into the bamboo and you fill it up with the cement, which connects the iron, and it gives it the support that it needs. This screw here is hooked by this screw here, so when this tightens, it pulls this one up, which creates the tension to hold the roof.
The workshop ended with everybody, except for me, presenting their 3D model and talking about the nature that inspired it. Afterwards, we had the closing ceremony, which involved passing a candle of gratitude around, and a tunnel was made where kind words were whispered to those that passed through it. I've never seen something like this before, and it actually brought several members of the group to tears. This is a testament to the truly amazing experience that Brian and his team of architects have curated at Jaraguah. Also, special shout out to the chefs that produced absolutely unbelievable food all weekend.